Hello, how you doing? Nice to see you. So, I don't know how to start this video. I think I've been avoiding it so long because of like shame. Hashtag. So if you can't tell by the terrible lighting or the unaesthetic background or the fact that I'm coming at you live from my MacBook photo booth, today is going to be a little informal video, particularly an update on my Chinese learning. So I'm just going to cut straight to it. I said both on here on my 2020 language goals video and also on Instagram that I was going to be learning Chinese for the first 3 months of 2020. Do you guys know how long 3 months is? It's like 90 days. It's a long ass time, especially if you're getting married to someone from a foreign country. Okay, that sucked. Long story short, I only ended up studying it for the first 2 months of the year. I kind of made it until like March 10th. So I'll say like 2.4. But yeah, I was just going to talk about like my learning experience, what I would do differently, just my experience in general, because I think I have a good outside perspective as a person who has pretty much only studied Latin-based languages throughout my life, like German, English, well, I speak English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, etc. People say that you can pass HSK 1 after 2 weeks of studying, because HSK 1 only requires 150 words, more or less. I think I'm about at HSK 1 level right now, but I haven't taken the test, nor do I plan to take the test for such a low level. Like I said, my original purpose, my relationship with Chinese, is that I have a sister in China. She's lived there for maybe 5 years, and now I have nieces who are half Chinese, so the culture is like officially a part of my family, and it's, you know, I see it in my future, and I see myself traveling to China in the future, so that's why I wanted to learn to be in January 2020 again. You know, it's a new year, I'm learning a new language. I was super excited about the trip that I thought I was going on at the end of February before coronavirus consumed the earth. It was a great time, you know, it was a great time. What I wanted to accomplish was just maybe like a paragraph or like a page of very basic Chinese words. I can actually show you. Let me turn to the page. Oops, I can't find it. This is what I wanted to be able to say at the end of March 2020. Everything that's underlined is what I can now say. That was just kind of to hold myself to some kind of level of accountability. And also, speaking of accountability, you guys know from here and also Instagram that I did a 30-day self-designed Chinese challenge. I'm like, my heart is racing thinking about this. When I was doing that challenge, I think I was fronting like everything was fine. Like, yes, I am so productive and all this crap, but it was so draining. A 40-minute Mandarin Corner video every day. I was doing a 30-minute podcast every day. I was doing, what else? A 1-minute Hello Talk audio every day. I would write sentences and take notes. 20 minutes of Chineasy and 20 minutes of HelloChinese. And I was dead ass overwhelmed. So it was not a good plan at all. You know, and adding it up, every day it was only maybe 2.5 hours of study every day. But when it has that many resources, that stuff feels like it consumes your whole life. I felt like every day I was just like enslaved to my freaking Chinese learning, and it sucked. Because I didn't have fun with it, you know? And it was just so intense. But, you know, I made this commitment and I was like, oh, well, you know, I don't want people to think that I feel like there's a certain amount of like trust that people have in me from my social media, and they're like, oh my god, go Elysse, you're so productive, and I'm just like, no, I'm not. The social media didn't make it any better. Like, I would, you know, feel like I had to post something to show that I was progressing, and it was just not a good look. But however, despite all that crap, I actually carried through pretty good with that challenge every day. I would do at least 2 of the activities. It wasn't that bad, but it was also awful. So I wanted to do some app reviews because I feel like I should like officially review the apps that I was using. I did kind of like give an overview in my daily Chinese routine, but I didn't get into the nitty-gritty. So let's start with Chineasy. Chineasy, like I've said before, is a nice little app. You can see that it's based off of pictures. So you learn Chinese characters based off of pictures that look like the characters. So you see, for example, that's a cat. That's also the character for cat. And it's a super effective method, I'm not gonna lie. But the beef that I have with Chineasy is that they will teach you irrelevant words. Like the first lesson, they teach you the character for person, which is ren. Super easy. That's a necessary word. But then in the next lesson, they teach you stuff based off of that character that you just learned, ren. And they're like expanding your vocabulary, and they teach you the word for villain. And I'm like, is that relevant? So in a perfect world, there would be the option to like group it based off of like family characters or animal characters and stuff like that. And I know that I am not like an official Chineasy researcher, nor do I have like the statistics on what is effective for people. From user experience though, I feel like I have a say in what was effective, and I felt like a lot of these words I didn't need to know. They should branch off and do different levels. Like, here's Chineasy HSK1, or like here's all the family terms, and like kind of separate it, because the way they have it now is just linear. Doesn't really make sense to a beginner. I know there's people out there that are just going to say like, oh, this is just for character practice and this isn't for, you know, to base your entire learning off of it. However, with Chinese, there's this very small percentage of people, I imagine, that learn Chinese and do not also learn the characters at the same time. So it's important to have good character resources from day one, and I feel like if you're just getting confused with all these words that don't make sense, it's just gonna feel like confused and scattered. That was my experience, because people told me Chineasy is super good for characters, and I was like, It is an effective method, it's just the way that it's grouped and the content that they give you, not always relevant. So yeah. However, I did like the drawings very much. They're very cute. HelloChinese. Let's talk about it. So, HelloChinese is kind of like a Duolingo-y looking app. So they do separate it based off of topic, and they will only teach you like related words at a time. And they also have 2 courses. One of them is the main course and one of them is the old course. So I was using the main course, of course. This app is super comprehensive. You know, they would give you pronunciation practice. They give you videos of native speakers speaking the sentences so that you can get attuned to what it sounds like natively. They have writing practice. They have like speaking practice. They have even like writing the characters practice. It has everything, you know, so it's super, super comprehensive. It was definitely worth like the $6 a month. And what I especially liked is that they have like a built-in podcast tab, checking in at the airport, how to buy an apartment and stuff like that. So they also like, you know, supplement your learning with, you know, a native speaker and a non-native speaker podcast. So theoretically, even if you had no other resources, you had no HSK books, you had nothing, you could totally learn Chinese just based off of the content that they're giving you from that, because also their grammar explanations are like on point. They're super awesome. They have good examples. I would rate that app 10 out of 10. In fact, in the future, I might just make that one of like my permanent resources. So yeah, I guess it's time to actually show you guys like speaking what I learned. 我叫爱丽丝, no, it was just my birthday. 我20岁. 我从来美国. 我最喜欢做视频. 我会说西班牙语, 葡萄牙语, 法语, 德语, 英语. 和现在我学习中文. 我想去中国. 因为我的姐姐住在中国. A bit repetitive. 我爱旅行. 我去过墨西哥, 摩洛哥, 西班牙. I forget the word for Germany. No, it was at 德国. I'm so bad at this. 我的家庭很大. 我有6个姐姐, 还有4个哥哥. Yeah. So, let's talk about going forward. Like I said, I don't plan on taking any HSK tests until HSK 3, just because I feel like it's super pointless to test for such a basic level unless I was working in China or I needed it to go to university in China or something. There's just no reason. There's always like, I feel like with Chinese learners, there's always this quantification principle, like, oh, how many words do you know? How many characters do I know? And stuff like that. And it's just kind of exhausting because there's always some deadline, there's always some test that people are preparing for, and I feel like that just introduces a tremendous amount of pressure. I'm an English teacher, and when I have a student that is learning, you know, English for just work or school purposes, they seem super demotivated and they seem more stressed out about improving, and it takes away the fun. So for me, I'm not going to test until HSK 3 at least. That's so far in the future. I don't plan on studying Chinese for the rest of the year, so I'm not going to worry about it. However, being a coward and a bandwagon hopper that I am, I bought the HSK book and workbook. $45? Not too bad. But basically, I don't need these. I was going to return them. There's just no reason for me to be worrying about this test right now. I didn't even plan on it when I, began studying, so why would I now? You do not need to test for every HSK level. I feel like some people think that. Do not think that. But yeah, in the future, I'm going to try to make it more mine. I was always posting about it on social media like YouTube and Instagram, and I also had that challenge that kind of made me get tired really, really fast. So I'm trying to just enjoy it next time. Find some music, some movies. I don't know. I think that if I learned two things after this is just keep it simple. Do not search for 5,000 resources and stop trying to prove something, because I was, trying to just progress as fast as possible with this new language, because from a very early point I saw that it was very easy, because Chinese grammar is relatively simple. So I was like, oh, I can, do this really, really fast. And I was so excited. But then I started to get like motion sickness, so to say. I was like, oh. Yeah, that's basically it. I hope that I can, I don't know, help you perspectivize, that's not a word, your Chinese learning. And yeah, if anybody has any similar experiences, give me them down below. Or you can DM me on Instagram at Elysse Speaks. That's ELYSSEH, I'm looking forward to hearing from y'all. And yeah, I guess I'll see you sometime in the future. 再见, bye.